When it comes to the heart of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the same question of whose land it is keeps coming up. A new documentary goes back in history to answer this pressing question. For many around the world, including the United Nations, Israel is an occupier on land stolen from Palestinians.
Say it loud, say it clear! Say it loud, say it clear! We don't want no Zionists here! We don't want no Zionists here!
They often chant, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Because from the river to the sea means Haifa and Jaffa!
This is part of the strategy to delegitimize Israel. Not only is there a biblical mandate for the state of Israel, the modern state of Israel, but there's a legal foundation as well.
Producer Hugh Kitson's new film, Whose Land, disputes the accusation Israel is illegitimate by stating a legal foundation established more than 100 years ago. At the 1920 San Remo Conference, the victors of World War I divided the Middle East. The result included a British mandate, re-establishing a homeland for the Jews. The preamble states, whereas recognition has thereby been given to the historical connection of the Jewish people with Palestine and to the grounds for reconstituting their national home in that country.
I believe actually what happened at San Remo and in the mandate back in the early 1920s was God putting the title deed of the land of Israel to the Jewish people and enshrining it into national law.
Colonel Richard Kemp, former commander of British forces in Afghanistan, narrates the film.
You frequently get the narrative that Israel has no legitimacy, Israel is occupying territory. And this film shows that that's not the case. It shows that Israel's sovereign territory is legally its sovereign territory. And it is not illegally occupying anything. It is not, there are no illegal settlements. There is just a false narrative against the state of Israel based on falsehoods.
Camp adds many Jews and Christians need to know the true story of Israel's legal right to the land.
And I think this film plays a major role in educating people about the truth and about what the reality is compared to the narrative that is shoved down everyone's throat by the media, by some human rights groups, by the United Nations, by the EU and various other international bodies.
The film cites other experts, including international law professor Avi Bell.
Simply putting out the basic facts about what happened to whom when, why it is the Jewish people have legal and historical and moral rights to their homeland in Israel. It turns out this is of fundamental importance. It should be obvious, but it's not.
Many, including the Biden administration, continue to push a two-state solution as a resolution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The long history of Palestinians rejecting this proposal leads Kemp to believe it's not what they want. In the meantime, he says, the campaign to delegitimize Israel carries global implications.
Not only does it affect Israel, it kind of discredits Israel's reputation for those people who believe it, but it also fuels and incites Jew hate around the world. And we've seen examples of that in the United Kingdom, in the United States, and other European countries, all fueled by this anti-Israel narrative based on lies.